Okay, right here, and then I'm gonna fast forward it because it's mostly most of the same thing. But here's the ending. All right. I don't know if you could hear it that well, but was it okay? Could you kind of hear it?
Kinda.
All right.
It was kind of breaking up a little bit. And
so first of all, there was a guy who appears to be Asian who was being yelled at by a bald guy who appears to be Caucasian.
Okay.
And I think the bald guy was telling him to shut up, walk away. There is another female who looks to be a younger person, like a much younger, like maybe possibly a daughter, or some, but younger, like in her 20s, and telling him to walk away, go away. Apparently, the Asian guy coughed. Most Asian guys cough. Most people cough.
So, it's flu season and it's allergy season. So yeah,
right.
I mean,
this was yesterday. This happened yesterday.
Okay.
At Ceremony Daly City. Target.
Wow.
And so, and then there was a shorter lady who actually appears to be Filipino.
No, really?
I was gonna say, she looks Asian to me.
She looks Asian to me, and she was trying to break it up, and she was telling, I think, her husband to that's it, stop it, that's it, stop it. Here's the thing. Immediately a lot of people are already responding that this was a racial incident. It might be, but the wife, she's not Caucasian.
Yeah. And also another thing too is that video, it just starts right when they're arguing, but the question now is like, how did the argument even start? You know,
he was coughing. He coughed.
Okay.
And then he was being addressed by the bald Caucasian dude.
I'm just curious what he said to him to instigate the whole thing.
I think the Caucasian guy was trying to tell him to go away or go out of the store because he's coughing and he should really watch it.
That could be the case too, but it's like
I think that was the case. I don't think this was a situation where the Caucasian just went up to some random guy and said, "Hey, you better leave and shut up." I don't think that was the case at all. I think it's because he actually probably coughed, and that's what, or at least that's what the words say. And so I see that, and I'm like, okay, well, the guy's yelling at him. Okay, whatever. I didn't see any racial slurs. I didn't hear any racial slurs. I didn't hear anything.
Well, I think like a lot of people who are watching the video may just assume that, it's a racial, situation going on where the guy's telling him to leave. But then again, it depends on like how the video started. Because the way I saw it, it just started like right when they're like arguing.
Right. So we didn't get everything beforehand. Right. And I don't think they knew that they were being filmed anyway. But, the Asian guy, I think he defended himself, said, hey, what are you talking about here? I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to walk away. I'm going to stay right here, which is fine. He's standing his ground. I told you. Now, the other guy, the bald guy, the Caucasian male, then he takes off his jacket. And I was like, oh, gosh. I was like, I could take that dude down. I was like, are you kidding me? He he must be at least 6'1". I could take that dude off, man. Not a problem. I mean, he's old, and he just doesn't look. I mean, the way he's looking. I mean, the way he's standing, he's like totally standing on his heels. You could trip that guy; he'll fall on his head and he might hurt himself. But he's wearing glasses, and I'm like, dude, you don't fight with the glasses on.
I'm curious as to if it was some other person, a Caucasian person, who coughed. Would people be quick to say, stay away, go away? Because normally if someone coughs, you just kind of walk away, right? I mean, that would be my reaction. Someone coughs, I'd be like, look at them like, okay, let me just move a few more feet away from that person in the other direction. So
well, if someone's heavily coughing and it doesn't matter what he is, I think my initial reaction would be like, I would stand back, hold my hand up, and be like, hey, are you okay?
Right.
Right.
Do you need assistance? Do you need like medical assistance?
But would you say right away, go away, go outside? I mean, that would not be my reaction.
Of course not.
No.
I'd be like, are you? Yeah, exactly. Are you okay?
No,
or walk away.
But I wonder if the Asian guy actually responded with maybe hey, why don't you go away or something? You know what I mean? Like, he could have said that.
Yeah, it could have gone both ways.
He could have said that.
Animosity.
Right.
But anyway, I look at this and I'm just, I didn't hear any racial slurs, so I don't know. The videos is incomplete. The little Asian lady was pulling him away. It looks like it appears to be his wife.
Right, and that's what I noticed too.
Right, she was Asian, right?
Yeah.
But people didn't.
She looked Latina to me. a Latina lady.
You think so?
That's what she looked like to me.
All right, let's do it again. Hang on.
Her hair wasn't short and curly.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this without sound. She's wearing a beanie. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So hang on.
The Latina. Oh, sorry.
I think she's Filipino. Let's see.
Not her. That's like the daughter.
No, that's the daughter. I'll address that later. Hang on. So she's right here.
She looked Latina to me, but she looks Filipino to you or Asian to you.
Yeah. She looked like one of those. She looked like one of those. I don't know. I don't know. I think she looked.
I want to say she's Filipino because, like, we have a lot of Filipino nurses that pass by me like every day. So it's like it almost seems like she could. I mean, she could go like Latino or or Latino too. But
let's look.
Just kind of we just gotta get a closer look, is all.
Let's look. Hang on.
That nose is way high. I could go either way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna repeat what she says. She said, come on, let's go. So I don't know.
It could be either.
It could be. I mean, like, because that's the thing about, like, a lot of Filipino women too. Like, they can be really short, not to like, not to sound like discriminating or anything like that.
No, yeah. I'm only barely 5 feet tall, so I get it. She looked Latina to me.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Hey, let's go. Sorry, I don't mean.
I don't know, man. She kind of. I don't know. This can go either way. Look at that face, though, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
But we are of Spanish descent.
Yeah, that's another thing too that makes it even harder. And that dude's just like smiling. It's like, dude. I mean, like,
because he's like, dude, am I gonna hit him? Do I have to hit him?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, probably in his mind, it's like, dude, you guys are freaking grown adults. It's like, why are you guys arguing?
He's like, this is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's like, I can't believe I'm having to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So what really? Okay, so this daughter like kind of came out little gangster, and that was kind of Latina right there.
Yeah.
Where she kind of came out like, if I find my face on YouTube, I'm gonna slap you or something like that.
Well, you're all over Facebook. It's not on YouTube. It was on Facebook.
Something like that. So she said something I couldn't really make.
I think on the internet. I think.
Let's look at that one more time, dude, because it looked She looked maybe. Hang on.
I mean, that blonde hair could be Filipino too, right? But there's
But
just
an older
something about
woman?
my auntie.
Hey, auntie.
I'm looking at how like
She sounds like she looks like she's talking to the guy too. That's why. And usually a Filipino lady won't. Well, not, I shouldn't say that. Never mind. I'm
no.
feisty Filipino lady. Never mind. I take that back.
Anyway, so that video is you know, it's going around and everyone's gonna say something. I'm pretty
they're
sure.
gonna flip. I can guarantee you that's gonna be on the news. Because like you think about it, it's like anything that involves like, you know, like racism, it's like it's usually like the most like viewed like thing in the world right now, and that's gonna bring in a lot of ratings. But like I said, it's like, you know, it's hard to determine whether it was, you know, um, any racism in there, because, you know, you don't have the full entire picture of like how it started. It could be, like you said, he could have told the guy, you know, maybe go outside because you're coughing, and then the Asian guy might have took it as a offense to it and just kind of stood his ground, and they just continue arguing back and forth. And they look like two guys that are just, you know, really ready to throw down. It's like not really looking into like reasoning.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's still just that question. Yeah.
What if that happened to you? What if that happened to you, Joy?
If it happened to me, if I cough, and
yeah, some dude went up to you like that, dude, and then
I said I had to clear my throat or whatever it may be. I said, "Excuse me." I mean, walk 6 feet away if you're really bothered. I wouldn't walk out of the store if I had just started like shopping, or if I was waiting for someone. So.
Or waiting in line.
I'd be like, "Oh, I'm cool, thank you." That's fine. You're like, "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm cool. Thanks."
Okay. I know.
But would I start a fight?
I know what Jay would do. Jay would get out of there quick.
Would you?
Yeah. If I got all my shopping done already, it's like, shoot. Otherwise, shoot. Hey, if I haven't gotten my shopping done, I've been waiting in line just to get into the store. It's like, no, I'm getting my shopping done, dude.
Right?
But
if you got a problem with it, you can leave. You know.
Dude, I think I would act probably the most immature. I'd probably become the most immature person. And I think I'd probably knife the guy.
I don't understand you. Why do you take offense so easily?
Or at least I would show him, because the thing is that when you have some guy trying to walk up on you, right, and he wasn't expecting a stand, right? But then when you put a stand, when you make a stand, the bigger guy who's you know he didn't seem too confident. You know, the way he took off his jacket, he kind of took it off kind of late while security's walking up on him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd pull out the knife and I'd be like, "What? You wanna do something about it?" And then I'd be like, you know, I was like, and then I would explain, like, I'm defending myself. You know, you want to do something about it right now. And
so you don't think it's racist that this? I mean, if someone were to come up to you and say, "Hey, man," it's not a racist thing. It'd be like, "Oh, he's afraid of the coronavirus and he thinks I've got it."
I didn't hear. Okay, so the video is incomplete.
But if someone rolled up to you and said, "Dude,"
no, I wouldn't think it's racist. No, I can't. It's not. I mean, it would be too easy for me too. Mm-hmm. Unless you have to verbally say it. You have to actually verbally say something. You actually have to. You know, you actually have to say, you know, "Hey, you Chinese motherfucker," you know, and they start telling me that, you know, I got to get out of here. I'll be like, okay, this is okay. Now it's racist, right? Now it's getting
no way to discern it prior to that until they say something racist, is what you're saying.
Right. It has to be really evident. I mean, you really have to like put it out there. Like if it was some dude and he was calling me, you know, and he, you know, he was using the slang language that we used to use in high school, I would probably understand where he's coming from, you know. But if he straight up like started using like if he used the word gook or something, okay, now that's pretty obvious. But to me, it wasn't. I don't think it could have been racially motivated, but at the same time, I don't think he was saying any racist remarks. It just happened to be that he was a much lighter skin. I don't know. What if he wasn't really Caucasian?
I hear you. I get it. He didn't say anything overtly obvious that pointed to racism. But at the same time, I don't think that if it was a Mexican guy or a black guy or even another white guy, I don't think. I'm just thinking in my head. He wouldn't be. Well, we don't know what happened beforehand, but I'm thinking in my mind, imagining what could have happened. I don't think he would have been quick to say something to him. He'd be more like us, like what would we have done? Are you okay? Or just walk away. So
yeah. Well, if I was there, yeah, I get in between. Oh man, that would have been sweet. But I don't think he would have done anything. I don't think either of them were really there to throw a punch. Are you kidding me? No way. I mean, that's just my assessment. That's just how I look at it. I don't think anyone was really going to throw down. But if it happened,
the Asian dude.
Huh?
I applaud the Asian dude for standing the ground. So.
Yeah, I was like, dude, he stood his ground. There was nothing wrong with that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and awesome. Even if it's over a cough, it's like, come on, really? It's like,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, even if you're gonna tell someone like you need to go outside, it's like, I think the way like he said it to him right now, it just sounds like, that's like a threat to me. It's like you're coming up to me and you telling me I have to leave. Whereas like another way it could have been, it's like, hey, if you're coughing a lot, it's like you should probably go outside and then come back in when you're done because you don't want to get everybody sick. That's another way of saying it to where it's like, okay, understandable. Whereas it's like, no, you gotta get the hell out of here. It's like, okay, yeah, it's about to possibly go down.
Look, I had the opportunity last Thursday to act like an idiot. Okay, in front of my daughter. My daughter, when I got told to bring her to the coronavirus screening, right? And I said, all right, let's go. There's this Caucasian guy who was pushing another older Caucasian male out of the ER. And I think they were headed back to the car. Well, my daughter coughed several times, maybe about 5 coughs. And you know what the dude said? The Caucasian dude said to her and to me, you better wear a mask. Now, I could have responded with, why? Because we're Asian? You know what I mean?
No.
Or I could have responded, but I could have. And you know what? If there was a video on that, it could have easily turned into that. That's how easy it would turn into. Because it would be on how I respond and be like, oh, okay, it's because we're Asian, right? We got to wear a mask now.
I beg to differ. He was wheeling an old man who is susceptible, more highly susceptible to anything because he's immunodepressed or, he would be more compromised because of his age and an immune system being weakened. I don't think so.
But your reasoning, what you're reasoning right now on how that is,
yeah,
because you know more about the situation, is the same reasoning I have about this situation. I don't think there was racially motivated at all, because you know why? It wasn't. There's nothing there. I mean, but in my situation, you're saying, nah, it wouldn't have. Really? Because I could have turned it into that. I could have made it that.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Of course. I could have totally made that. And then if there's a video, me saying that, already like narrating like what the situation could have been, that would have been a done deal. It would have been a viral video. Be like, oh, what? You telling us because we have to wear a mask because we're, then I would look ignorant. Okay?
Ignorant.
All right. So I think right now people are just going kind of ignorant right now, like with their thoughts and ideas. Now, Joy, you brought up another article that happened. I think it was yesterday or today.
Yes.
Not sure what happened. I mean,
sure.
And I don't know.
Let's weigh in.
I looked into it a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Basically, I want to get my facts straight. I just sent it to you on a whim. Hold on. But basically, our president referred to the coronavirus as the Chinese virus. That's the gist. Now, can't we? Sorry. Roy and I talked about it earlier, and in my mind, my stance on that is, you know what? let's call it by how the medical officials have called it. It's COVID-19, also known as, okay, coronavirus. It originated in China, in Wuhan, yes. But must we call it the Chinese virus? I don't think so. I don't think so.
So how's that? So okay, honestly, my first reaction was like, so what? He called it, dude. He called it China China virus. To me, I don't care.
Sorry.
I don't care, and this is why. I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
In 2010, when Obama was president, they called the specific Ebola virus. It was Zaire Ebola virus. The Zaire virus. It was called that. You can even look at it in Wikipedia, man. They have all these references. And the reason why they put the country name is because they wanted to specify that specific strain, that it was from this country at this certain time. And that's why they called it the Zaire virus, Zaire Ebola virus. But it's otherwise known as Ebola virus because that was more of the official acceptance of the term. So let's replace Zaire with China. And let's call it the China Ebola virus. What would that mean? Oh, Ebola virus? Wow. And it probably originated in China, that specific strain. So tell me, how is that really bad? Am I using the wrong?
I can't pinpoint anyone from Zaire.
What?
I can't pinpoint anyone from who is of Zaire descent or from that. And I think given the state of our country, knowing that there are racist, ignorant people living in our midst,
okay,
call something out as China, you basically open up a can of worms and allow people to have xenophobia. I mean, they already have xenophobia, but you kind of like put it out in the open. Oh, our president calls it the China virus. So these Chinese people, wherever they may, I mean, I just think people are ignorant and they think stupid things and they'll do stupid things based on what they think.
Okay, so this whole virus thing is a catastrophe. Let's replace the catastrophe, right? Let's replace this virus with a natural disaster. Okay, it could be like a hurricane, or it could be some type of typhoon that started. Let's pick a country. Let's say it started in somewhere in the Bahamas. Okay, which some of the Bahamas are what, U.S. territory or Virgin Islands. Let's say Virgin Islands. That's owned by Britain, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, if it originated in what is what is owned by Britain, and it's a hurricane, it's kind of silly if you call it, oh well, this is a British Hugo hurricane, right? It sounds kind of silly, but at least like where it probably originated from. Let's say you take a volcano back in '94, Pinatubo.
But I get it. I know what you're saying. Right? But why call it China virus when we've got two names that we've been using in mainstream media for a while now?
Filipino
volcano
for this virus.
I know. Why are we calling? Why is our president calling it the China virus when for all this time we've been calling it Corona, and then the medical establishment is calling it COVID-19?
Mm-hmm.
Why call it China virus?
Not to make it as an excuse for him, but Trump says the stupidest things.
Exactly.
So why would you? So what do you expect? You expect them to actually use the correct term? I mean, really? I mean, you really expect him?
We are in a state of emergency right now, or we're not in a state of emergency yet, but things are transpiring so quickly. Where just an hour ago, or was it 2 hours ago, Governor Newsom put all of California on basically house arrest.
Yeah,
we're locked at home. We have a curfew. It's martial law, right? And you know what? I'm okay with that.
It's not martial law.
It's not martial law. I know. I'm exaggerating.
National Guard hasn't been activated.
That's how it feels like.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, well,
Oh, my God. That's an overreaction. If anyone's calling martial law, I don't care who it is. It could be my sister calling it martial law. That is an overreaction.
The point is we can't leave our house unless it's for essential activities. Right? Can we agree on that?
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's not martial law.
No, it's not martial law.
Dude, martial law is National Guard activated, right?
Right.
That's martial law. You want to know what martial law is? Martial law is also when Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law.
Oh yes, we know all about that.
Okay, we know all about that. That is martial law. But that's like saying
so. But going back to what we're talking about, going back to the issue at hand, why call it something else when we've got two perfectly good names that has already been used and everyone identifies, they know it, it's we know what COVID-19 is, we know what coronavirus is. Why give it another name?
Wait, now when he said that, I pretty much missed it, but is it going to be what the name of it is, or is it just what he would call it?
That's what he calls it.
Okay, so it's not like official. So basically, it's still known as the coronavirus and the COVID-19. Okay, so that's just all on him. And you know what? He can say or tweet whatever the heck he wants, but that's just only going to show what kind of person he is. That's really all it is. And,
not like you didn't know it, though, right? Mm-hmm. You already knew that he's that kind of person.
Yeah, I mean, he's done that in the past. Given. Yeah, he's done that in the past to the point where it's like, you know what? We say and, do all we can, to change this guy, but we know clearly this is just who he is. And,
dude, I wasn't surprised. Mm-hmm. I wasn't surprised when you told me that, Joy. I was like, okay. And I mean, right now, what's happening right now is, they're trying to get a stimulus out, right? Mm-hmm. They're debating whether it should be $1,300 or $2,000 per adult per month. And then if you have a kid, it's $1,000 that goes to the parent per kid, which sounds pretty good. But I'm just saying, it's like, okay, so if you're someone who doesn't like who our president is, it's like, okay, so are you going to be one of those people and join in and be like, oh, well, he's giving a stimulus. That's not right. And then you're going to find every excuse in the book, to like try to not accept that stimulus, which you are because you're going to cash it. It would be really stupid if you didn't. But, but a lot of people are complaining about the stimulus. Oh, it's not enough. Yeah, right. It's like, of course.
People are complaining about it?
Yes, there's people complaining about it. I think people are torn because it's a pretty good amount that got mentioned by the Democrats. I mean, they're pushing for more, which I totally applaud them. Mm-hmm. And I think the Republicans are trying to give like what's a fair deal, which I think is a little too low. Mm-hmm. But somewhere in the middle, I think they're meeting halfway.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do it per month. And I'm like, hey, anything that helps out our economy, anything that'll help us out. I know that I charged some stuff on my credit card that I totally didn't want to charge. Mm-hmm. And I had to go out and buy supplies and I was nervous and I was really stressed. But all I'm saying here is that some people are complaining about cashing this stimulus check. So, but here's the thing. It's like, again, and the point that I was trying to get back at was, how we were talking about martial law?
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw what martial law was like in the Philippines, right?
Yes.
But then you can't compare that to martial law, what you call it martial law here. That's like saying racism here by just saying one little thing compared to how the Japanese were racist to all of Asia. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. But not the same.
But you try to take the word and you try to equate it as if it was the same thing, but it's not the same thing.
The point I'm trying to make is we've got someone in leadership who can use this platform for good. And for the most part, our economy was going up until all this happened and lots of other great things happened. A lot of things. I don't like the guy. Well, I don't like the things that he says. I don't like the things that he stands for sometimes. But he has an opportunity to be an example, to lead the people in such a way where they're not going to feel like there's a group of people in our midst that we should tell them to just stay away. Just like that example or that video that we just watched. We don't want to alienate anyone. We don't want to say something that would provoke another to say, well, if he's going to say that, if he's going to say China, he's not, and what am I trying to say? There are fools out there. They're going to take what he says and then use it as permission to hurt others.
Yeah,
and that's the point I'm trying to make. He has a platform to use his speech, to use his words to propel others toward good things, toward positive things. And when you say China virus, I'm sorry. There are things that happened in San Bruno lately. My friend just texted me. She's an older lady in her 60s, and she went to Starbucks, and this woman, I'll just tell you right now, she comes from a high income. She lives out in Hillsborough. Her husband makes good money. She used to work in the corporate world back in the day. She's well versed. She is well bred. She speaks well. She's up there. And she went to Starbucks yesterday, and some Hispanic lady said to her, "Stay away, stay away." Okay, it wasn't racist. There was nothing overtly racist. But to go into a Starbucks and to be told right as soon as she comes in, "Stay away, stay away." It could have gone any way, but that lady was at Starbucks too, getting a drink. It just.
Are you trying to tell me Trump is making a Hispanic lady become racist?
What I'm trying.
No, just anybody that's not Asian, basically.
Exactly. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like by saying that the China virus, basically you're putting a target on a certain group, and that's Asian, whether it be Chinese or Filipino or Hmong. It's like you put a target on people. I mean, just remember when he was talking about building the wall to keep immigrants away, right? It's like
error.
That, yeah.
Illegal immigrants.
Yeah, illegal immigrants. But then it's like, dude, a lot of people were, at that time, like being targeted for possibly being like illegal immigrants. But it's like people don't even bother to ask, if they're illegal immigrants or whatnot. They just assumed that because they were Hispanic or Mexican and all that. And I was like thinking, it's like, I think the way he like pretty much delivered his speech, it wasn't a positive outcome. I mean, like you can say that it was a virus that originated from China. I mean, that's a better way of saying it. Like, kind of like the Ebola virus. It was originated from I can't pronounce that name.
Zaire.
Zaire. And that's just something for like for notes in the future if we were to ever come across this virus again. But to say it like that, like the Chinese virus, it's like now a lot of people out there, and that's not just the only video that you would see of like Asians being targeted. It's like somebody posted up a link on Facebook too that showed like multiple Asians who were assaulted on the BART station or who were assaulted just walking down the street because they were being blamed for bringing this virus over and whatnot. And I was like, dude, these guys were probably born in the U.S. and they probably had nothing to do with it, all because they were just Asians. And there was another one too that was in Australia. He was it's like the article was an interview with one of these with an Australian fence master who reported that one of his students, who was this Chinese student from China, who got assaulted. Apparently, whoever pretty much beat him up, like he ended up damaging his eye. So now, he even stated in his article, "This makes me so ashamed to be Australian because you have this really nice guy, probably like the nicest guy I've ever met in my life, who didn't get, who got what he shouldn't have deserved, and now he's never going to be able to fence ever again because of what they did to him." So basically, yeah, that's just how bad it's looking right now, for just all the Asian cultures out there.
So what are you suggesting our president do? Go through some like sensitivity training or something, or?
Well, I mean, like,
I
would say, like, shoot, if
he probably does.
Your advisors.
He probably needs
someone screen your Twitter before you post anything.
How are you gonna tell
I
a 70-something-year-old man that?
see, and that's the thing is like he
How
is
you gonna?
pretty much.
He's the president. You're on lock and key.
So now you're asking for okay. So now you're asking for perfection.
Well,
No,
no,
not
I mean,
perfection.
No,
Sensitivity.
you're asking for a perfect president, dude, because you know you really know that this is his downfall.
no, but put it this way: it's like he's done it so many times before in the past, and it's been like what 4 years now since he's been elected as president. So you've done it in the past to where you got negative outcomes, and you're still doing it. So that to me is just telling me that you know what, maybe it might not be the job for him. That's all it's telling me. I mean, I don't know if it was his own idea that he wanted to be a president or if somebody encouraged him to be the president. But I will say that he gave it a shot to be the president, and sometimes it's not cut out for everybody. And as far as like the perfect president goes, it's like it's nothing's ever perfect, but all you can do is do your best. Is all I'm saying. And it's like,
But there's going to be some downfalls. Oh, don't tell me like Obama was perfect. He had some major downfalls.
oh yeah, of course. And like I said, it's like nobody's perfect. But
see, I can ding Obama as to like, yo, what did you do for your people in your hood, and your Chicago and your Illinois? What did you do for your people? I can get on that all day about what did he do to improve, the people that we're expecting him to, like how we're expecting for this president to like, well, use your words correctly, right? I mean, all I'm saying is this, dude.
It's not just use your words correctly. Use your words in a positive manner so that our people, American citizens, don't get basically steamrolled in the process.
Right. And all I'm saying is, why can't the president of that time, like, why couldn't you do anything for the people that were suffering where you came out of, where you were a senator with, why can't you do something? I can get back on so many points on what Obama did. I can get on so many points on what Bush did. I can keep it going all day long.
But they're no longer in our president. I mean, you can go on it all day long, but we're talking
I can go
about
all day long, but then you're getting, by I don't want to lessen like your argument, but it's pretty much on semantics. He's using it wrong. I totally agree with you on that. He's using it wrong, but I'm not expecting him to actually get this one right. And for me, it's kind of like, well, he said that one wrong. You know what? He said that one wrong. But then if he's so bad, then why is he working on the stimulus to get it to the people that need it? Why is he continuing?
He's not doing his duties. I did not say that at all. But again, you're going to tell me that, oh, that's just how he is, and we're just going to sweep it under the rug because that's just how it is. No, that's not how life works.
But he's been doing it for even before he was president. He's been doing the same thing.
And he's been doing the same thing, and
you're not going to change it.
Well, that's the problem. I think it's hard to change, but I think there needs to be some movement, some progress toward change. That's all I'm saying. People are getting hurt.
So did you read why? Did you read why his reasoning for that? Did you read what his reasoning for using Chinese virus?
Are you going to tell me that it's a valid reason?
Huh? No, I'm asking you. Did you read what his reason was?
No, I did not.
Okay, so here's the reason, and this is the lamest thing I've ever heard. But here's the reason. He straight up said, and I didn't expect him to say anything better. He said, "Well, it came from China, so it's a China virus."
And
right? Did you expect more? Did you expect like he was gonna say something like really intelligent?
No.
So here's reason number 2.
He was ill. I'm not saying he was ill intentioned when he said it. I'm just saying when you say something like that in a world that is racist, in a country that is being divided left and right, it's going to add fuel to the fire. That's what I'm saying.
Let me get back to that division. Okay, hang on. Reason number two.
There's
no reason.
No, reason number 2 was he did that on purpose in retaliation to pretty much show up on the Chinese government, because the Chinese government was blaming U.S. troops for giving them or creating this coronavirus problem in China.
Well, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. He just wanted to take a jab.
You're just
reporting. I get it.
I'm just reporting it, man. I'm not agreeing with it.
I'm not shooting the message.
No. We get it. No, totally.
Okay. So yeah. So those were his reasons, which that's not good enough for me. But I think my stance is, what do you expect, dude? Seriously, what do you expect? You expect him to use his words correctly? And it's totally not. Here's the thing. None of us here are Chinese. Okay. Right? None of us here are Chinese. Right? So I'm gonna stop being offended for other people when I'm not even one of them. I'm gonna stop being offended by it, because it's like, okay, it's just however you want to handle it. I'm gonna stop being offended, because that's how some people are about, like, how they hate their white selves and they're offended for, African Americans.
You know what? You cannot use that excuse, because that's, look what happened, and and now you're gonna get back from me. But when the Jews are being persecuted by the Germans, well, I'm not Jew-ish, so I'm not gonna worry about them. I'm not gonna get offended for them. Just can't cut it like that. We all bleed red. We all bleed red.
Right. I'm not going to worry about that. It's like, I'm going to learn from it, but I'm not going to carry that burden that was on their people. I'm not going to, because you know what? I got my own burdens to worry about. I got this whole hatred thing that I'm myself is still trying to get over, about how, like, wow, how do you in Filipino culture, how do you forgive what happened, what the Japanese did? How do you do that? How do you forgive? And I'm living through it right now. I didn't live through that era, and I'm glad I didn't. But you know what? It's like my grandparents and my parents kind of lived through that era, but my grandparents definitely lived through that era. Okay? But it's like, when I learn their stories, I'm living through it. And you know what? Yeah, of course, what happened in World War II, of course that sucks, man. Of course it sucks, dude. I mean, I couldn't, actually, there was a part of history, and I love history. That was my favorite subject, and I didn't know I was in love with history. But yeah, I pretty much read up on World War II. But when it came to that point, when they were killing and doing the concentration camps and sending in like 1,000 people at a time and putting them in this burning chamber, and I had to stop reading about that. Okay? But I'm not going to go out.
Injustice was incited.
Right, but I'm not going to go out, and I'm not going to go out to every Jewish person and be like, I feel you. I'm not going to.
No.
I'm not going to do that.
When you see injustice before you, some righteous anger better well up within you.
Do you think that justice was? I mean, I learned from it. I learned that's not what you do. But I'm not going to add on. Maybe I'm built this way. I'm not going to add on this burden to myself. People can do it. It's fine. If they want to do it, go ahead. If you want to carry that on, that's how you get depression. That's how you end up with suicide, man. You end up taking up a whole situation, and then you relive it, and you're trying to imagine yourself in it. Look what happened to Iris Chang. Same thing. That happened to her, man. She was trying to write a whole story about the Bataan March. That was like her latest book that she was writing. She couldn't take it. She killed herself.
Iris Chang?
Yeah, dude.
She was writing about the Bataan March, and then she killed
herself. Right. She's the one who wrote The Rape of Nanking. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. After that, she wanted to write about the Death March. All right. She was doing her study. She was right in the middle of writing it, and she got so depressed because she couldn't handle it, because of all the atrocities that she read and all the reports that she read and all the people that she interviewed for it, and she shot herself in the head. Okay.
Well, you're right. You shouldn't carry that kind of burden.
That's why I'm not carrying that kind of burden. Of course, but at the same time, I learned from it. And, this is what you do not do. This is history. It's very unfortunate. I wish it didn't happen. Don't want it to happen. But at the same time, I'm not going to be offended for another person. What I can do is observe. And now because right now I know what not to do. I would never speak like Trump. Would never do it. That's not something that, you know, that I'm down with. But at the same time, you kind of have to ask, like, you know, like those that are Chinese. That's so funny because I know some, because I'm married to one, right? And all of her friends and those people who are Chinese, about 70% of them, not even offended. They're like,
Not even
okay.
offended by what?
They don't really care
About what?
about Trump calling it the China virus.
You've asked each and every one of her friends whether they care or not?
Yeah, and you know what? There's one friend who doesn't like me, and it's one of her best friends right now because there's something that I did say. Okay. So, but that's another thing that I want to touch into, because that was kind of dicey. I kind of almost ruined. I think I pretty much just ruined that friendship. And that's something that I have to pay for. But I'm just saying, it's like, not offended. Okay, you know what? Because what do you expect? The same reasoning. What do you expect? You expect him to say things right. You expect him to to say the right thing. Not
so you're saying that they're apathetic.
What I'm saying is they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn. They don't care. Now, that might differ from, like, if you interview more Chinese people who are from like Los Angeles or who are in the inner city. That might change. Numbers might change there. Those numbers might change. Okay, and mind you, these people who don't really care, they're not even Trump supporters. Don't care. I don't know. That surprised the hell out of me. So go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. No, I think I was gonna say, it's like, I think they're at that point where, like, you know, yeah, there is, you know, nothing you can say or do to make him change who he is. But, you know, it's like you said too, it's like we can learn from it, not be like someone like him, like just be, you know, stronger for ourselves and for those that we care about, you know. And I think, like, before too, like, a lot of people got so offended by, you know, a lot of things he's said and done in the past too. And, you know, there are still a lot of people out there who are offended and are pretty upset about the things he's doing now too. But I think, like, a lot of people are just getting ready to move on because it's, you know, election year. And I think, like, if anything, people are just looking to move forward right now. And I think that's something that's really, you know, on the positive side too, is that, okay, what do we learn from now and in the past to where we can go further into the future? And most importantly is getting there together. Yeah.
Remember that guy in San Francisco, the guy who was pushing that cart, was collecting bottles?
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that guy?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You want to know what one of actually a couple of the friends of my wife said to me? Why are you being offended for that guy? I mean, it's his decision. If he wants to do restorative justice for that young man, then that's his decision. That's what he wants to do. Why are you offended for him?
Restorative justice. Wait.
Yeah, basically the charges were dropped against that young man, the guy who videotaped it. And the victim, the old man, agreed to it. He said, yeah, fine, we'll drop the charges. Let's drop those charges. And you know what? That wasn't for me to decide. Didn't matter what I felt. That was all on the victim. That was what the victim wanted. Now, if the victim wanted that, who am I to say what? Who am I to say how people should feel? That's where I'm coming from.
How people should feel about the whole incident, or how people should feel for the fact that he dropped the charges. Two different things.
Either.
You know,
wrong is wrong, whether it was racist or not. And
of course it's wrong.
Them taunting him. So
of course it's
I'm
wrong.
gonna feel that it's wrong.
Of course it's wrong. But this is what his decision was. He decided that the charges should be dropped.
So I'm saying there were two different issues there. What happened to him and what happened after.
But the charges were dropped. So
yeah. I mean, and the interesting thing about too is when I first came across that article, it was something that a friend of mine posted up on Facebook, and all you see in the title is just, you know, Asian man was attacked, and the attacker was the the attacker wasn't charged for any of that. And I thought, okay, that's complete BS. But when I read the article, it said, yeah, the victim dropped the charges as long as he, go through, what was that thing called again?
Restorative justice.
Yeah, restorative justice. Because I think somewhere in the article, if I remember right, like he felt that that guy, clearly
his views were misplaced. His judgment was misplaced.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And
okay. That's all. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I feel like nah, man, you shouldn't have dropped the charges, but he did. So I'm kind of out of it. Right. Doesn't matter what I feel. Doesn't matter how I think.
Yeah. Well, I think like in his point of view, like this just kind of like a guess, but it's like I think like from his point of view is that, he feels like this is a message to the world that, there's a lot of people out there who should know that, this is wrong. And like if you don't know any better, then you need to be educated about this. And I think that guy was a young guy too, wasn't he?
20 years old. He's
yeah.
You don't know what he was doing.
Yeah. So like I think like that. Yeah, I think like that's the reason why he dropped the charges too, is that it's in his way of being forgiving and giving that person a chance to do better next time. And I'm not gonna lie, it's like back when I was in high school, I was a senior and there was a sophomore who was a friend of mine. He's still a friend of mine too, believe it or not. But at that time he stole one of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and right now it doesn't mean anything. But man, back then when you were a kid, those cards mean the world to you. And he stole the card from me, and I called his mom up late at night asking him, hey, does your son by any chance have this particular card? And she said yes. And okay, well, my card is missing, and he was the last person that was looking through my cards, and he told me that he bought it. You took him to the store to buy it for him. And thankfully she was honest about it and said, no, I did no such thing. So the next day she came to school along with him and made him return the card to me in person. And, and I told him too, it's like, what, I'm willing to still be friends, but, it's just, I'm willing to give you a second chance too, because, I'm pretty hurt because I felt betrayed, but I'm willing to give you a second chance. And now, like I said, we're still friends to this day. And, he's actually become a teacher now at a high school. And despite like all the things that he's done in the past, and apparently from what his mom shared to me too, it's like he has had issues as well during that time in high school. So I think like in a sense, it's like had he gotten that chance, he knew that, okay, he messed up really bad. And now in order to not go through this again, it's like he really needed to change himself. But I mean, I don't know. That's
a great story. Because he
turned. That's awesome. I mean, it turned out really good. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. And like we can only,
but that was your decision.
Yeah. And
right? That wasn't like me for me to be like, nah, man. You should have went all the way with that, right? It shouldn't matter what I think, right? Shouldn't matter how I feel, right?
No, but like the situation is, I think if the situation was given upon you, like now that's where you really need to like look inside yourself to where it's like, okay, this is what I need to do. Because it's like at that point, I couldn't really ask my parents like, okay, this guy stole my Yu-Gi-Oh card. What am I going to do now? It's like, I think it was at that point where it's like, this is something that I feel that needs to be done. And like, whether, people agree with you or not, it's like, I think like it's what you call it, something, not closure. It's like something that you can live with because it was, it wasn't because, okay, this person told me to say this, or, this is
your conviction.
Yeah. So it's like, what, wrong or right, it's like, I can look back and say, no, this was my decision and this is why I learned from it. Regardless of what the outcome is. I think that's the most important thing. And so, as far as that guy goes, with his decision, hopefully it was for the best. But I mean, yeah, I can agree with you too. It's like if it were us in his shoes, like perhaps it might have been a different outcome. Probably would have charged the guy because, you know, that's totally wrong. Or could have just said, hey, you know what? You know, he's young and dumb and didn't know any better. Hopefully he'll change himself in the future. But, you know, that's entirely.
My thing is, I think I would like to see him prosecuted. And then after seeing him prosecuted, maybe at the end, like before he's sentenced, probably make a statement saying, will you please lessen the charges? Because he's not going to learn anything in jail. I mean, I think I would have enjoyed that, because you know what? If he gets processed like that and he gets prosecuted, that would have sent a message to that community.
Yeah, no, that's
saying,
true.
you don't do this. This is what happens when you don't do it. Now things are like, oh, I can do this and I can get a pass. See what message you're getting sent out?
I don't know. It all depends, right? It depends.
Of course, it all
that
depends.
Guy.
I mean, maybe in that time and era, like, you know, the way he decided to do what he did, maybe that was like a different time. But in this day and age, it's like, you know, a lot of people feel like, or a lot of the new generation feel like they can get a pass for everything.
Well, they feel very entitled.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they're going to be getting away with it. That's what I'm saying. How do you do it? So, of course, you might be able to, in this situation, which I thought is a very beautiful situation, that he went to drop charges. Maybe that'll change that guy's life, and maybe it'll take that young man to change other people's lives. Maybe that's the situation. However, that's not the road I would want to go. I'd be like, send the message out so that they know what's up. They can actually feel the fear. And then you change the situation and be like, yo, all right, please give him a less. I changed my mind. You know, lesser sentence. He needs to pay what he's, you know, pay for what he did. But at the same time, I would transform him that way, or let some transformation in jail. Like, yo, man, this is how they're going to treat you in jail. So you don't want to go here. And then he could probably come out and be like, yeah, this is what you don't do. You know, I mean, either way, you're taking a chance. But of course, I think it ended more beautifully than I think I would have wanted.
Right. And like, you don't really see that kind of
you don't see it no more, right?
20 years, you won't know anything until about 20 years from now.
Yeah, you won't know. But it would be so awesome if that young man would be like all like supportive of the Chinese community, and he would participate in, like, you know, public events. Then if I see that kind of change, I'd be like, I'm glad I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I'm glad I'm wrong.
That guy had a big heart for dropping those charges.
And that's awesome, because he's a better man than what I would be. All I know is
I'm reminded of my grandpa. If that was your grandpa, you would have persecuted to the highest extent of the law.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, because you don't do it to my grandpa.
But you don't have a lot of people like that who have a forgiving heart and someone who's willing to let go. You don't see a lot of that nowadays. Nowadays, even with my own kid, I'm like, you need to learn. You best learn quick, right?
So I guess what I'm doing is, what I'm tying in here is, that was his decision, wasn't my decision. So I'm gonna stop worrying about how offended I should be for what happened to him, because he dealt with it, and I'm just gonna let it. Okay, this is what not to do, but I'm not gonna be like offended for a whole people when I'm not even part of them. I don't have their culture in me. I'm not born with it.
I get it.
That's just something I gotta live with. So
I totally get that. But at the same time, if I see injustice, I'm going to call it out.
Oh, of course. Sure.
Right.
Of course. Now let me get back to this whole story about my wife's best friend. Okay.
Oh. We're gonna go to this. Jay needs to be filled in.
Oh man. Okay. So, my mouse isn't working. Oh, there it goes. I took a screenshot because I don't want to go back to her post, because she's probably talking hella smack about me, or she's probably a nice person, and you know.
She has a post. Oh, it's the best friend we talked about.
Yeah, you know, I've been, I
want to see the post.
I can't show it to you, man. I can't give out the name.
Not here, but later.
All right.
When the kids are asleep.
I'll just read it out, okay?
Okay.
Wait,
who is talking? You or the?
No, this is the article. A White House official has called coronavirus. A White House official has called it's called coronavirus the Kung flu to an Asian American reporter's
Are you
face.
serious? The Kung flu? Oh
the
boy.
Kung flu. Okay, honestly, that does sound funny to me.
I mean,
However,
I could see.
I would never say something like that.
I mean, what if that were to end up as a sketch title for Saturday Night Live?
Dude, that would have been funny as hell.
It would have been funny. I'll admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Kung flu, right?
Totally wrong.
Okay, so the Asian journalist, she's Chinese, and she added on to that. I wonder if they say that. I wonder what they say behind my back. Right? And I'm like, okay, that's what she tweeted. So this is what I said into response to that. Okay, my response was, man, and this is typical jerk me. Okay, I asked her, how come the reporter won't name names? I think that's a legit question. Hang on, the response. Maybe the reporter, have more class than the White House staff. And I'm like, oh, wow. So you're like,
that's a good one.
So you have higher class, right? So then I responded, and I shouldn't have. I should have left it at that. But I said, then that's like if one of your staff does something wrong and the entire staff is in the wrong. It would be nice to hear precision reporting rather than generalizing and just let it be okay. And then her response.
Oh, she came back.
She came back with this. I got a thumbs up for what I said from one of her friends.
Really?
But the response was, this is becoming a very sensitive topics for many Asian people. As if I'm not Asian, right?
You're Pacific Islander.
This is becoming a very sensitive topics for many Asian people. Please do not post any pro-Trump things on my posting. I didn't post anything about Trump. I didn't post nothing about.
Wow, but she knows who you are.
Huh?
No.
But I didn't post anything. But I didn't post anything. So she's telling me, and the funny thing is, like, okay, you're triggered.
Oh, you mean you're triggered?
Yeah, she's triggered. I'm all thinking to myself, okay, you're so damn. You know what my thing was? I actually typed back and I erased it. I actually typed back.
Really?
I actually typed back something like this. It was something like, you're about to get a $2,000 check for you, one for your husband, $1,000 per kid. You better not cash it if you really hate Trump.
You should have posted it. Sorry. That would have been awesome.
Don't cash it if you don't like Trump. Don't cash it because he's the one who's writing that check.
Oh, snap.
And he is. He's writing the check. If you really don't like him, don't cash the check.
Oh my gosh. Why didn't you? Oh, sorry. I'll be quiet.
Because you know what?
Because your friendship, your relationship with your wife.
That probably would have ended a lot more than just a friendship. And when I mean a lot more, I mean her brother is my mechanic, and I don't ever want to lose my mechanic.
Oh, never mind. Once you find a good mechanic.
When you find a mechanic, dude, you don't want to lose your mechanic, dude, because your mechanic does everything to help you out. You know, pass your smog check. Okay. Yep. I'm just saying. And they know everyone. Your mechanic knows everybody. It's like a barber. They know everybody. You need a locksmith? Boom, you go there. You need a plumber? You ask your mechanic. They know everybody. All right? So I could have responded with that, and I could have just knocked it out in her face. But my thing was, I was so upset because I was like, why can't people just search for the truth? Seriously, the truth. All I wanted was the name of that person who made the statement. I talked about it with another person who I'm going to bring on the podcast. And she straight up told me that, maybe this person doesn't want to lose their job. Maybe, like if somebody does something wrong, on my team, it's like we all lose. My whole team loses. I go, you know what? That's right. Your whole team loses. Your whole team gets penalized. But that person who actually made the error, they're the one that gets fired, not your whole team. You know? So I was all like, there should be precision. If you're going to be a good reporter, dude, you're what's your job, right? You need to uncover the truth. You need to uncover what's actually true. You need to tell us straight up, who is that person? So, because you know what, honestly, I want to know who that person is so I can get on them right now. Because maybe that person needs to be fired or maybe
So you're
corrected.
saying you cast doubt then that perhaps what was reported is not actually true? Or are you just saying she needs to just say it and be a whistleblower and call it as it is and call that person out?
If she's going to report something, she needs to do it all the way.
All the way.
You can't hold back the truth. You can't. If she's saying some White House official, really, which White House official? Who is that person? Because see, here's the thing, that's a common hate. Like if you were one of those people who hated Obama, it didn't matter if one of his staffers did it, you just blame Obama, which is wrong. It's the wrong thing to do. You don't blame the staffer because they made the mistake. I mean, that's what they're thinking is. You don't blame that. You want to blame the entire staff. You know, you want to blame the CEO. You want to blame the person on top. That's their thinking. But see, that's wrong, dude, right?
Yes, you need to call out the weakest link, the weak chain.
Right. And so I so wanted to know, like, dude, and so here's the second thing that comes around. If she's not going to name the person, probably didn't even happen. It didn't happen. That's like saying, like, if you were drugged, if you're a female, you got drugged, or if you were a male and you got drugged and then you got abused, but you didn't know it because you were on some kind of drug in your drink, right? And you just say, yeah, those people right there, all them people, all those people right there. Not that one person who did it, all those people right there. That's like just blaming like a whole people in a lineup and not actually pinpointing the truth on who it actually is because you're protecting what. That's how I look at it. And you know, for my wife to have a friend who thinks like that is probably not in the right mind right now. Might be a lot of things going on, but if they are in the right mind and they think like this, oh boy, yeah, I totally don't want them like watching over my kids. You know what I mean? I'm not going to trust them with my kids because they're going to make some stupid, lame decision if there's a fire in the house, right? And I leave my kids with them. I don't want that. So
I don't think they're going to be babysitting your kids anytime soon.
Right. And so, you know, I mean, so there I probably messed it up. I told my wife about it and she's not too happy about it. But the funny thing is that she's not on my side just because I'm her husband. She's actually on my side because she actually sees that the truth should come out.
Oh, good.
And so, because I was afraid that she was just going to side her, but she's not siding me and she's not siding her. She's actually siding what the truth is.
Oh, that's why you married her.
That's right. But honestly, those are the only friends that I actually want to be with, are the people who actually want to seek out the truth and not just shove it away. Now I know that's something that's like a character issue. I know that that's something where people have to work on that. People have to like work on telling the truth and being truthful themselves. I have to do it, you know, and that's something that needs to be worked on.
Some grace, though. Not everyone thinks differently. Everyone has different ideas, and that's what makes even our forum right here special, because we all come from different backgrounds and we have different convictions even. So, I mean, and what we want is to have open, honest conversation and be able to bring our opinions and ideas to the table without being like shot at, right?
So add that to your
bring
list.
Different perspective.
So, dude, Joy, you can add that to your list. Kung Flu.
Oh, I'm not thinking that. But on that note, I just saw a text from not a text, but a Facebook post from one of my friends who just arrived from the Philippines and landed in H&L in Honolulu. And this is what I'm just going to read out loud. FYI, I was surprised that coming into Honolulu, we were not screened. I was getting myself prepared to be screened and nothing, which tells everyone that Oahu, Hawaii has a bunch of travelers on vacation. She has seen Korean Airline and Japan Airline unloading a bunch of folks in arrivals. and her thing is local residents, just do your part and stay home. So apparently she'll be quarantined at home for 14 days, but they weren't screened.
That's some scary stuff, man.
That is scary.
I don't even want to hear that because now that scares the hell out of me.
Oh heck yeah! Hawaii's like a port. It's like a stopover for a lot of places coming into the mainland.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But if you're noble, if you're of nobility, you'd be like, yeah, we should do that because that's the right thing to do. You know? Right? No, I'm scared. Wow, I'm. Wow.
And this was like recently too, or
her post was 57 minutes ago. Wait, let me.
Oh no way.
It's just like an hour ago. So
that makes me wonder, like, how long they've been going on with this, without screening people.
59 minutes.
I think they screened in Manila, though, right? They also screened in Manila. They did one screening. Yeah. They did a temperature gun.
I can ask it.
Dude, first time I saw a picture of that, the temperature gun, I thought, it's like, oh my God, is somebody about to get shot? I was like, I mean, from a side angle, it looked like the dude was pointing a gun, but from like the angle over the shoulder of the person pointing it, I was like, oh, it's a temperature gun.
It's a temperature gun.
Yeah, I was like, oh God. Okay.
Well, maybe they were screened in Manila, but at the same time, you would think when you come back to your own soil, you want to get screened there. I'm just saying. Or if someone lands on our soil, you'd want to screen them before you let them go.
Yo, check this out. Treasury Secretary of Treasury. I don't even know what to say. Confirmed up to $2,000 per American adult, up and $1,000 per child.
Up to, so it doesn't mean you're actually going to get that. It's an up to.
Yeah, I think they're going to classify it, but I think for regular people like you and me, Joy, I think we better get close to it.
They not regular people?
Huh? Well, I mean, I don't know, Joy. Do you drive a Tesla?
You drive a Tesla?
Do you drive a Tesla?
I don't.
Right? Do you live in Hillsborough?
No.
Okay.
It's pretty there though.
Yeah. So that makes us regular folks.
For regular folks.
Regular folks, okay. So I'm just saying, like, yo, we're not millionaires.
No.
I'm very far from it. So, and I think, I don't know if they're going to do that per month or it's just a one-shot deal. Sounds like a one-shot deal, but let's see if they do it per month. I think the Democrats are asking for per month, which I highly support. I think they should do it. They should really do it.
Where are they going to get that money from? I'm just wondering what.
Oh, it's only like, it's only like, well, they're also going to bail out they're also going to bail out the airline industry too, which is going to be like $50 billion. And I think it's going to be like, I don't know. I think the whole thing it's in the trillions. So
do something about her.
No. But tell you what. Even though the money's going to go back out, it's going to come back in. It's going to come back because people need to spend it. So it's not like going nowhere, right? The money's going to come back. So we're probably going to, probably like right away, at least 50% of it's going to come back right away. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm kind of thankful for that. I hope it does happen, and I hope the Democrats really fight hard to get that number up. I really do. I really hope they do. I think, I don't know. I feel like, the Americanism is coming out. Being American is coming out because what? They're fighting for us. They're actually looking out for us. Mm-hmm. Even though in the back of my head, they're probably thinking, well, if we ask for more money than what our president and Republicans do, maybe people will vote for us. Even though that's in the back of my head. But at least they are fighting for us. And that's what sucks. It's in the back of my head. I'm really sorry to talk about racism. I thought that we agreed we're never going to talk about racism again.
We did?
Well, maybe I'm the only one who agreed to never talk about racism.
It's hard not to. It's just kind of the climate that we're in. And that's where the news is taking us.
Yeah,
but we don't have to. We don't have to talk about racism anymore.
No, we. I don't. Well, maybe I shouldn't talk about racism because I keep on going back to what happened in the past in World War II. I keep on going back to that past, and I keep reliving it in my head, and it depresses me. It makes me sad. It actually does. And with all my friends that are Japanese right now, they're American. You know what I mean? And they want the same things we do. And I know that they pretty much want to forget about that too. They want to forget, just like how Germany wants to forever forget what one of their former leaders did. They want to forget about it. They don't want to remember that. So yeah. It's a very touchy, when you listen to firsthand stories, from the people that lived through it, especially talking about how they they threw up some of my uncles and aunts up in the air when they were babies and they were caught with bayonets. When you hear stuff like that, that's something that you can't unthink anymore. And you can only imagine through their words and how it's like, dang, dude, that was one of my kids that happened to. And that's your uncle and your aunt. And that's what they did. And it's so funny because they keep on saying, never trust the Japanese. They keep on saying it. But, I know that that's not true now because, one of my very good friends, she's Japanese. And, I'm pretty sure, we don't talk about it, but I'm pretty sure she hates it as much as I do. And it's just very difficult. I know her dad feels the same way too. So, yeah. But I don't know, man. I mean, and I'm sorry to be all hard on you.
No.
About it. No,
I mean, like one of the things that about like just revisiting the past. It's like the past is in the past, but it's history. But there's a reason why we study history a lot, is to know how far we got in life and just the struggles, and also just the the terrifying moments in the past. I mean, looking back to that just gives us a reminder of our flaws, or if not ourselves, but our ancestors. It's like, what can we do better? What can we do now to where we won't make those mistakes again? I think that's pretty much a very an important thing to do too when it comes to going back to the past. It's like, I think what's the saying, history repeats itself. I think the only way that's possible is just by our actions now, and revisiting history is a way of saying hey, dude, this is kind of looking familiar. We should, probably stop,
So does that mean you're going to stop eating meat?
Oh, heck no, dude. Wait, what?
I don't understand where that came from.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, golly.
What? What? Isn't eating meat bad?
No.
No.
Until your cholesterol gets up high, then oh boy. Where's that salad?
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'm glad we had this exchange. I mean, I think a lot of things were cleared up. I mean, I'll tell you what, I did learn that, I mean, I didn't learn anything. I'll tell you what, I didn't learn, because I knew what I knew. It's just that, I will reinforce the whole thing. Man, this is definitely, the next time around, this is definitely not a president that I want, to be saying. I don't, and you're right. It could trigger some people, but at the same time, I can't live by that sometimes, because it's like anything will trigger anybody, dude.
Yeah, so it's like you do got to be careful with your words, because now you trigger something and you set something in motion to where now a lot of people are going to be hurt, or possibly even killed, worst comes to worst. And it all comes through you as a leader that, started it all. You can start something good, or you can start something that could, end up being bad, So, yeah.
Well, one thing's not going to, this is not going to change. I can honestly say that I think every president that we had, and of course this is controversial, but I think every president that we had, except for maybe one, but every president that we had, I mean, truly loves this country. Now they probably not see they might not have much experience with the color of my skin and how we perceive things, but I only think that it is getting better, not as fast as I want it to be, but I think it is getting better, especially with this upcoming election. Like, I look at, oh gosh, I even laugh when I say his name, Joe Biden. I know deep down inside he loves this country. I know he does. And I know truly in his heart, he really wants to do everything he can for this country. But I just can't get over some of the things that he says too, dude. It's just too much for me. I can't have someone around saying stuff like that, dude. So now you kind of have to weigh. Let me tell you something real quick. And I know we probably don't have to talk about this. I might even cut this off the podcast. You know who I was rooting for? Tulsi Gabbard.
Me too.
I was really now. There's a lot of things Tulsi Gabbard I do not agree with on her, but you know what?
She loves her country.
She does, dude.
She loves. Yeah, I've been following her since I lived in Hawaii. She's great.
Let me tell you something about Tulsi, dude. One of the reasons, okay, and this is the same reason why deep down inside I wanted Trump to win. I wanted Trump to win because I was sick and tired of what the media was doing. And I wanted somebody to win to prove them all wrong. To me, it was more like whoever it was against the media.
What was the media doing at the time that you were so riled up?
Well, first of all, it was just discredit among discredit, discrediting left and right. And they would do anything, including lies, fabricating information. And they were discrediting Trump. And you know what's funny? Trump in the end was all like, yeah, watch this. Hold my beer. Watch this. And he did it. And I have the same feeling with Tulsi, because you know what, and it's too bad she dropped out today. But with Tulsi, it was more like, you know what? Watch this, dude. And I really believe that Tulsi was going to pull through, and Tulsi was going to be like, yeah, I'm going to win this. And you know why? Because the stuff that she says hits so hard with me, especially when it comes to the nation's defense, bringing everybody home.
Yep.
And pretty much just the love that she has for this country, it to me, it runs deeper than any of the candidates that I've ever seen. It runs so deep. But it's too bad she bowed out. She
doesn't have enough money. Everyone else is rolling though.
She's supporting Biden, but I think there's a chance that he might have promised her the VP seat, maybe. Because Biden said that he was going to choose a female.
Oh, what do you know? It's like, what do you know?
I think he probably cut a deal. But you know what? I really want, when I fill out that ballot, I'm still going to choose her name, dude. I'm going to do it. I don't care. I'm a registered Democrat.
I know.
You know. I am. I just want to put that out there, dude. Because, people I think are like, especially like my wife's best friends, they're probably like, what is he, man? What is this, man? Trump support. Yeah, that's right. I did. I voted for him. You know why? It wasn't him I voted for. It was just the news outlet that I was really like voting against them. And I was like, watch this. And with Tulsi, I had that same feeling, like, watch this, dude. She's gonna wipe you right up on the floor. But it's just too bad that yeah, man, she announced today that she's gonna support Biden. And I think she cut a deal. So Joy, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you were following Tulsi. I didn't know.
Yeah. She was great. Yeah.
But there are things that, and I know that there are things, I think there are things that the things that I don't agree with her on, I think are the same things that you don't agree with her on. And I think we can see that. But you know what? I can actually weigh that out.
But she reasons. Like you said, or like we both said, she's patriotic. She loves her country. She's in the military. she's not just from one sector. She's seen it all. She sees how it works. Her family's in government, and so I think she's just really well rounded.
And you know, and this I might have the wrong perception of her, but I know when it's time to push that trigger, I know she's gonna push the trigger.
Oh,
dude.
she would do it.
She's gonna pull that trigger,
Yeah.
and she won't even think twice, dude.
Yeah, exactly. When she's on a mission, that's what it's like for military. You're on a mission, you're gonna do something, you go all the way.
That's the attitude that I want. That's what I want. That's what I wanted a present, dude. It's like, you know why? So no one can mess with us, dude. Because it's like somebody messes with us, boom, trigger. You know?
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think we could have gotten that with Hillary Clinton. I think if you start messing with Hillary Clinton,
oh yeah,
I think she would pull the trigger and you would be sorry. She got more balls than her husband, dude.
I mean, she's been doing most of the talking rather than her husband when you think about it.
Right. But at least that I can expect that. But I'm 1,000% even more confident with Tulsi that she would definitely like in you know, when the moment comes, I don't think that girl blinks, dude. She don't blink. That's what I like about her. Biden, dude, blinks too much, man. But I don't want to talk about the election, you know, because that's boring stuff.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. So I think let's call it, man.
Sounds good.
All right. For sure. All right.